Hello everyone. In this session, we are going to talk about the append query. Appending files in Power BI involves combining multiple data sources or files with similar structure into a single data set for analysis and visualization. This process is often used when dealing with the data that is spread across the multiple files but shares the same schema or structure. Appending files in Power BI allows you to consolidate the data from multiple sources into a single data set, streamlining the data preparation process and enabling the comprehensive analysis across diverse data sources. By appending the query, users can efficiently append the files and create unified data set for their analytical needs in Power BI. When we'll be talking about this append query, we'll be looking at the different ways to append the query or maybe different file types. So for example, the first thing that we are going to take a look into is appending the multiple CSV file from a folder. Then we will talk about appending multiple sheets from a single file. Then we will talk about appending Excel tables with different number of columns. Then we will see appending multiple Excel files from a folder. So we'll be not doing the practical demonstration for this fourth one, append multiple Excel files from a folder, because we have already talked about it in the previous session where we were talking about how to load the data set from a single folder. So this would be a repetitive thing. So we won't be doing this thing. You can find the steps in that video. Then we'll be looking at appending different data sources files in the Power Query. So let's go to the Power BI screen and see how can we append the multiple files over there. So we are in our Power BI screen. Now first we will see how to append multiple CSV files from a folder. So for that what you can do is you can go in this get data option and over here you will choose more option. Now remember, I know that all the files are the CSV files, but we won't be using the option of text or CSV files over here. We'll be going in the more option, and from over here we will choose this folder option because all these CSV files they are in a single folder. So click on this folder option, click on connect. Now over here you have to give the folder path. So I will click on browse and wherever the folder is located. So for example, I have this in my Power BI datasets and I will choose the desired folder over here and click on OK. Now my dataset contains too many files over here. So I will show you what are the files over there. So I had these sales files over there, and the option here to append these is very simple. You have to click on their combine, and over here you can choose this combine and transform data. Now let's look at what the data looks like exactly. So for that what I'll do is I will show you the folder where this data is located, and over there we will see how the data looks like. So right now this is the folder where all my data is kept, and over here I have the sales data for various months throughout the year. For example, I have this January sales data, February sales, April sales, and this data contains some simple information like date, company name, and the sales which has been done by that particular company. Now, these companies are repeating in all the other months. For example, right now, if I go back to my Power BI screen, over here, you can see that it is giving me some small information. It is giving me the metadata for that particular CSV files. If I just click over here on the combine option, and if I choose this combine and transform data, you will see that it would open a new window for me. And in this window, it is showing me what the data looks like in my each of the file. So for example, it is showing me the sample of the first file over here, and you can choose your desired file over here. Let's say we are going to see this January sales. So on the first column, we would have the date, the second would be the company's name, and the third would be the sales that is done by that particular company. So give it some time to preview the data. If this preview is taking too long, you can just directly go in that and see in the Power Query how does the data look like. So this is a preview of my data. You can simply click on OK, and I'll choose this first file again. You can click on OK, and this would merge your files. So you can see a new window has been opened, which is the Power Query editor. And over there, all these files would be combined. Now these things can be done in 2 or 3 button clicks. So we are familiar with the Power Query editor over here. On the right hand side, all the steps that we are doing on the top of our data sets are recorded. So you can see I haven't performed any steps by myself. I just combined and transformed the data. All these steps have been taken care by Power Query itself. So there have been many applied steps in this Power Query. And on the left hand side also, you can see some new queries have been created where my file is having this appended query also. So here, after you have appended this data sets, the first part, the first column would be showing you where exactly this data is coming from. That means the source file. So here I have the source of April files, then I have the source of February files, January files, and so on. So let's say if you want to sort this data accordingly, you can click on this date function. So after selecting this date column, you can sort this data in ascending or descending order. Now, if you want to remove this column, you don't need this column. You can also remove this one to make your data more clean. So this is how you combine multiple CSV files that are in a single folder. Now, after you have done this, the next part would be appending multiple sheets from a single file. Let's say if you have some Excel sheet and there are multiple files inside of that, there are multiple sheets inside of that. How would you do it? So that is our next step. So for that, what you can do is you can select these files first, and I will just delete it for now. You can go in the new source option, select this Excel workbook because all my sheets are in that Excel workbook. Now I'm going to this folder where I have kept my file. So this is appending multiple sheets from a single file. I have this yearly sales record. So I will click over here and click on open. Now, whatever sales file you saw in the CSV, I have made a Excel file and multiple sheets are there. Each sheet contains the sales for each month. When you will load that file, it would show you all the sheets and the tables that have been created over there. If you are able to read that data through the tables, it is advisable to load the tables. If you are not able to see it in the terms of tables, you can select the sheets as well. So here I will select April, February, January, June, and May sales. Also, this is yearly sales, which is a wrong name for the sheet that I have created. This is basically the March sales. So after selecting all these months, I can just simply click on OK. Now all these sheets would be loaded over here in the query. Now, since previously when we were loading the data, it was asking us to transform the data. And in that option, we have chose the option of combining it. But right now, what I have done is I have loaded multiple sheets over here and it is not giving me any option to combine this data. Now, in this case, what should I do? So I have this append query options over here. Using this option, I can combine all these files. So first, I will change this yearly sales data to the March sales because it is showing me the wrong name. So I will just rename it to say March sales. After that, I will go in this append queries option and click on this drop down. It is asking me two options. Do you want to append this query or do you want to append it as new? So appending it as new means it would create a new query and it would append all these files over there. So I will choose this option of append queries as new. Then it would ask me if I am having two tables or if I am having multiple tables. So I will select three or more tables over here. And you can see this January sales is already over here because it was selected when I chose the append query option. Now, if you want to add all the other tables, what you can do is you can go on the top of them and you can double click. So I will double click on February sales, March sales, April, May, and June sales over here. After you have added every sheet over here or every query that you want to append, you can click on OK and it would append all the data for you. So you can see right now I'm having 36 rows over here. So this is how you append multiple sheets which are in a single Excel file. After that, you can click over here on close and apply. So before that, I will rename this particular query and I will say yearly sales. And then you can click on close and apply. Now, if you go in this data option, you will see that all this data has been loaded. A thing to notice over here is that it is trying to load all the queries that were present in the Power Query. Now I don't need all these queries over here. I only need this yearly sales because the whole transform data was in the yearly sales option and not in the other queries. So for that, whenever you are dealing with this kind of data sets where there are multiple data sets and you have performed some transformation steps on the top of that, and you don't want the developer to see all these queries over here, you only want it to see the final query. In that case, what would you do? So again, you will go in the transform data and over here, you can see there are multiple queries. So I only need this yearly sales. So what I will do is I will go on the top of every query, right click, and over here in the enable load option, I will uncheck this option. So you have to do this with every particular query that you don't want to load. And you can see the font of it. It has changed to italic. That means it would not load it in the Power View. After you have done this, you can again click on close and apply. And this would remove the other queries from your Power View. So now only I have this yearly sales and I can easily create some visualizations out of it. So this was a way in which you can append multiple sheets from a single file. The next option is appending Excel tables with different number of columns. So you can also do this, and we have already talked about this when we were loading the data from a single folder. So you can refer to that video and you can follow the steps along. So that there is nothing different. Whenever you are having multiple Excel sheets and all these are having some different number of columns, you can easily load that with the help of the same steps that I have performed in the previous option. The only thing there would be that whichever column is not belonging to the other sheet would be showing some null values over there. So you can perform that step as well. Then we have already talked about the fourth option also, appending multiple Excel files from a folder. You can also refer to the previous video. Then the last option is appending different data sources files in Power Query. So now let's say that if you are having two files or two or more files, when you are working with different kind of databases, for example, let's say if you are loading some data from Excel file, the other data is from a CSV file, and the rest of the data is from a SQL server. In that case, what you would do? How would you bring your files over here and you will combine these files? So we will be looking at an option where I have one CSV file and the other is the Excel file. We will try to combine these two files. So for that, again, I will click on get data, and I know one of that file is the Excel file. So I will click on Excel workbook option, and I have kept this files as appending files from different data sources. So here I have this January sales data. So I will load it for now, select it and simply load it. The next data is in the form of a CSV file. So again, I will click on get data. I will select text CSV. I will select February sales, click on open. Now you can go to the transform data directly from over here, so it can open the Power Query for you. In the Power Query, I have this January sales and February sales. So these two I want to combine. So all the others, what I will do is I will simply delete them for now. So now we will be following the same steps. Again, we have to go in this append queries, click on over here and use this option of append queries as new. I will choose two tables for now because right now I'm only having two tables, January sales and February sales. So you can select the first table as January sales and the second one is February sales and click on OK. If you are having more than two tables, you can select three or more tables over there and it has appended the data for you. So this is how, using just few button clicks, you can append your multiple files in a single query. So I hope this session was clear to you, and we have already talked about the merge query as well. So merging and appending is a bit different process. You can also find this merge option over here, and you can practice with different data sets how you can merge and how you can append these queries. Thank you.